unexpected arrival, the sky above Earth was dark and still. The cold winds of the Ice Age sweeping across the frozen wasteland. For centuries, the planet had been locked in a never-ending winter. The once vibrant cities and sprawling forests were buried deep beneath layers of snow and ice. No life was visible on the surface. Everything was frozen in time, waiting for a change that seemed impossible. But change was coming. Deep in the void of space, a fleet of alien ships had been traveling for months. They had scanned dozens of planets, seeking a place to revive, to conquer, and to call their own. Earth, once a thriving planet teeming with life, had long since been forgotten. The aliens had assumed it was a dead world. Its history was nothing more than a faded memory. But as their sensors picked up a faint signal from the surface, a new plan formed. The aliens' leader, an imposing figure known as Commander Zorath, stood on the bridge of the lead ship, staring down at the planet below. His eyes narrowed as he watched Earth's frozen surface. "This world has been dead for too long," he muttered, his voice full of anticipation. "We will bring it back to life, make it ours again." Zorath had seen many planets, many civilizations, but Earth was different. The energy signature they had detected was faint but steady, something alive beneath the frozen surface. He didn't know what it was or how it had survived, but it was there. And that, to him, meant one thing: hope. His second in command, a skilled officer named Rilla, stepped forward. "Commander, we have the power to melt the ice, to release Earth from its prison. But ... we don't know what awaits us. What if there is still danger here?" Zorath glanced at her, then turned back to the view of Earth. His mind was set. "We will deal with whatever is on this planet. We have the power, and Earth will serve us once again." The aliens' ships descended toward the planet, their engines glowing brightly against the cold expanse of space. As they entered the atmosphere, the ships emitted a low, rumbling sound, their energy shields protecting them from the harsh conditions. Below them, Earth's surface remained still, untouched, as if it had not felt life for ages. Zorath watched closely as the ships hovered above the frozen land. With a signal from him, the alien fleet began to activate their advanced technology. Massive energy beams shot down from the ships, aimed at the ice below. The heat from the beams began to melt the thick layers of snow and ice, revealing the planet beneath. The ground cracked and groaned as the ice began to break apart. The sound echoed through the silent world, the first signs of movement in centuries. Zorath stood tall, his hands clasped behind his back, watching the planet's surface change. "It's working," he said, a smile tugging at his lips. "The Earth is waking up." As the ice continued to melt, something unexpected happened. The scanners on the alien ships began to pick up unusual readings. Energy levels, strange fluctuations, and sudden bursts of heat far more intense than they had anticipated. Zorath's smile faded. "What is this?" he asked, his voice growing tense. Rilla quickly examined the data on her screen. "Commander, the temperature readings... They're not consistent. Something is beneath the surface. It's alive." Zorath's eyes widened. This was no ordinary world. The aliens had expected to find a barren planet, a lifeless ball of ice. But beneath the frozen exterior, they were detecting something unexpected. "Activate the scanning probes," Zorath commanded, his tone more serious now. The probes, small and swift, shot down to the planet's surface, sending back detailed images. The images revealed something extraordinary: structures, small cities, hidden beneath the ice. R-I-L-A, gasped. There are people, civilizations below the ice. How is that possible? Zorath stared at the screen in disbelief. We thought this world was dead, but it seems humanity has survived. The alien fleet paused, hovering above the melting surface, as the magnitude of the discovery began to settle in. Zoroth's mind raced. How had humanity managed to survive the Ice Age? The planet was frozen, inhospitable, and yet there was clear evidence that humanity had adapted. They had found a way to live beneath the ice, hidden from the universe's view, and now they were waking up to find their planet was no longer the frozen tomb it had been. Prepare for ground assault, Zorath ordered. We will meet these survivors. As the aliens prepared to descend and make contact with the hidden survivors, something stirred deep beneath the ice. A faint pulse of energy, strong and steady, began to emerge from the heart of Earth. It was as if the planet itself was awakening. Responding to the alien presence above, Zorath felt a chill run down his spine. This ... This is only the beginning. The moment had arrived. The thawing process had begun, and Earth's survivors were about to face their fate. Would they welcome the aliens as liberators, or would they fight for their survival? Zorath and his fleet were ready to find out. The first encounter. The air was thick with anticipation as Zoroth's fleet descended toward the thawed remnants of Earth's once great cities. The ice had melted faster than expected, revealing ancient ruins and structures buried beneath layers of frozen history. As the alien ships touched down on the planet's surface, the eerie silence of the world felt almost oppressive, as if the planet itself was holding its breath, waiting for something to happen. Zorath stepped onto the surface first, his boots crunching the newly formed icy crust beneath him. His officers followed closely, their eyes scanning the horizon. Around them, the once dead landscape stretched in all directions, the remnants of a frozen world now rapidly transforming. The alien technology had done its work, but there was still an eerie stillness in the air. No sign of life yet. Rila approached the commander, her voice full of curiosity. Where are they? How can they have survived in this cold, with nothing but ice for centuries? Zorath's gaze remained fixed. Ahead, it is clear now that these humans are more resourceful than we believed. This planet was not as empty as we had thought. Their sensors had detected faint signs of life beneath the surface, hidden beneath the layers of ancient ice. The city ruins around them gave no indication of who lived here or how they had managed to survive. There were no obvious signs of technology that matched anything the aliens had encountered. Commander, look, Rila said, pointing to a distant structure emerging from the ice. A massive building half buried in snow and frost. It appeared to be some kind of ancient temple, covered in markings Zorath had never seen before. But the most surprising thing was the movement. Shadows shifted behind the windows, figures watching from within. The humans had seen them. Prepare for contact. Zorath ordered. As the alien soldiers advanced cautiously toward the building. A loud mechanical sound echoed in the distance. From behind the temple, a large metal door slid open, and a figure emerged. The alien soldiers tensed, ready to respond to any sign of hostility. The figure was human, an older man, garbed in thick fur-lined armor, his face weathered by years of living in the harsh cold. His eyes were sharp, scanning the alien soldiers, with a mixture of curiosity and distrust. He didn't appear to be afraid. You've come at last. The man's voice was deep, carrying the weight of countless years. We've waited a long time for this day. Zorath was taken aback. The humans had been expecting them. This was not what they had anticipated. They had expected a planet of survivors, desperate, isolated, and here stood a man, calm and prepared, facing them without fear. "Who are you?" Zorath demanded, his voice stern. "How have you survived the Ice Age? How have you hidden from the rest of the galaxy?" The man stood taller now, a hint of pride in his stance. "I am General Casper, leader of the Earthborn. We are the descendants of humanity, and we have adapted. We survived the cold, learned to thrive beneath it, and now we endure." Zorath studied him carefully, his mind racing. Earth's survivors were not what they had imagined. They had not only survived the harsh environment, they had built a society, a civilization beneath the ice. Casper's words were not those of someone afraid of invaders. They were words of someone who had faced adversity head-on and was still standing strong. Casper continued, his voice calm but resolute. "You are not the first to come, alien. We've faced your kind before, those who seek to revive the world for their own purposes. But we are not as weak as you think." Zorath narrowed his eyes. "You have no idea who you are speaking to. We have come to restore Earth to its rightful place in the galaxy. We will take what we need." At the mention of taking, Casper's expression hardened. He stepped forward slowly, his hand resting on the hilt of a blade at his side. "This planet belongs to humanity. It always has. You may have the power to thaw the ice, but you don't understand the price of it." A tense silence hung between them. The aliens and humans stood facing each other, two worlds colliding, their fates now intertwined. As the ground continued to thaw, a rumble shook the earth. It was subtle at first, then it grew stronger, louder. Something beneath the surface was awakening. Casper's eyes narrowed as he glanced at the ground beneath their feet. "You've stirred something we've kept hidden for centuries." The ice wasn't just a barrier to protect us from the cold, kept something else sealed away. Zorath's curiosity flared. "What do you mean?" Casper's voice dropped to a low whisper. "You've awakened the Ancient Ones." Before Zorath could respond, the ground shook again, and the ice cracked violently beneath their feet. A massive figure began to emerge from the depths below, its massive form outlined by a growing pulse of energy. The Ancient Ones were not just a myth Casper had feared had now been released. The very thing humanity had kept hidden for generations was now free. The alien fleet, watching from above, grew alert. The power they had unleashed had consequences neither the aliens nor the humans were prepared for. The tension between the two forces faded into the background as the ground continued to quake. Casper turned towards Zorath. "Now you see what I meant. This world is not yours to take. It has its protectors, and they are not happy to be awakened. The unexpected battle for Earth was only just beginning, and humanity's survival was now at stake, not only against the aliens, but against an ancient power that could reshape the world forever." Unraveling secrets, the ground trembled beneath their feet, as if the very earth was alive, responding to the disturbance caused by the awakening of the Ancient Ones. Zorath and his alien soldiers stood frozen, their weapons ready but their minds uncertain. The force that had begun to emerge from the depths of Earth was unlike anything they had encountered. Even Casper, the human general, seemed taken aback, his usual confidence replaced by something resembling fear. "This is what you didn't know," Casper muttered, his gaze locked on the shifting ice beneath them. "We thought we had buried it, locked it away for good. But you've stirred it. Now, we all have to face the consequences. Zoroth's voice was low but firm. What is it? What were you hiding down there? Casper turned toward the alien commander, his face shadowed by a mix of anger and regret. The Ancient Ones are not of our world. They came long before humanity, long before the Ice Age. We thought they were gone, extinct, wiped out by the frozen world. But they were here all along, buried beneath the ice. And now they're free. As he spoke, the earth cracked once more, and a massive shape began to rise from beneath the frozen surface. The creature was colossal, towering over the land, its form both terrifying and majestic. Its body was covered in ancient armor, made of something that glinted like metal but looked far more alien, something not of this world. The eyes of the creature, glowing a faint blue, scanned the humans and aliens alike, radiating an otherworldly intelligence. Zorath's soldiers took a step back, their fear palpable despite their advanced technology. The Ancient Ones weren't just powerful, they were ancient gods, or something close to it. They had the power to control Earth, to shape its very future. And now they were awake. What do they want? Zoroth demanded, his voice strained as he stepped back to assess the situation. Casper clenched his fists. They want control. They've been dormant for too long. They were the rulers of this world before humanity ever stepped foot on it. Now that they're awake, they will stop at nothing to reclaim what was once theirs. As the Ancient Ones slowly began to rise, they let out a low, rumbling growl, their voices like the sound of distant thunder. The air crackled with raw energy, and Zorath could feel the power emanating from them. These beings had survived for millennia, hidden beneath the ice, and they were angry. The ground trembled again, but this time the tremors were accompanied by a strange hum, as if the earth itself was reacting to the awakening of these ancient beings. The snow began to swirl, and the temperature dropped rapidly, plunging everything into a bitter cold. The alien ships began to flicker, their systems struggling to maintain stability in the sudden onslaught of energy. The Ancient Ones raised their massive arms, and the ground around them cracked open. The ice itself began to shift, as if it were alive, responding to the commands of the giant figures. They're trying to bring back their empire, Casper said, his voice full of dread. They will stop at nothing to return the Earth to its original state. They will freeze it all over again, and this time they'll make sure humanity never survives. Zoroth's mind raced. His mission had been to conquer Earth, to use its resources. But now everything had changed. The aliens hadn't just woken up a planet, they had awoken its ancient guardians. The humans, once a potential threat, were now caught in a battle with beings far more powerful than they had imagined. And the aliens, for all their advanced technology, were also outmatched by the power of these ancient beings. We need to stop them, Zoroth said, his voice determined. But how? Casper's eyes narrowed as he turned toward the aliens. You have underestimated the power of this world. Humanity has fought the cold for generations. We know how to survive in this environment. But you, he gestured toward the alien soldiers, you are out of your depth. The Earth does not belong to you, and neither do the Ancient Ones. Zoroth stepped forward. Then, help us. If you want your world to survive, we must work together. We need to find a way to control them, to stop their rampage. Casper didn't answer immediately. The tension between them was thick, but he understood the weight of Zoroth's words. The humans and aliens, once enemies, were now bound by a common threat. They had no choice but to unite, or risk losing everything. "Very well," Casper said, his voice steady but tinged with frustration. "We'll fight together, but don't think for a second that we'll be allies beyond this. Once this battle is over, we'll return to our ways." Zorath nodded, agreed, but for now, we need to focus on the task at hand. The Ancient Ones, now fully risen from the depths of the planet, moved toward the alien fleet with terrifying speed. The ground continued to shake as the titanic beings stomped forward, their massive forms creating waves of energy that destabilized the environment around them. The battle for Earth had just begun. A new war the ground shook with every step the Ancient Ones took. Their massive bodies towered over everything, shaking the very foundation of Earth as they marched toward the alien fleet. The cold had intensified, and the air was thick with a strange, eerie energy that seemed to radiate from the ancient giants. Their eyes burned with a fierce, unearthly light as they moved toward the alien ships, each step causing cracks to form in the ground, releasing bursts of freezing wind that swept across the land. Zorath watched in silence, his mind racing. He had seen countless battles, fought on many worlds, but nothing compared to the sheer power these Ancient Ones possessed. Their immense size, coupled with their control over the planet itself, made them near invincible. And despite the strength of his fleet, he knew they were ill-prepared for such a force. Casper, standing beside Zorath, clenched his fists, his expression a mix of fear and determination. "This is why we kept them buried," he said, his voice low but full of conviction. "These beings are the true rulers of Earth. They are not just gods, they are nature itself. If we do not stop them, they will bring this world to its knees." Zorath turned to Casper, the weight of the situation. "Settling in, we need a plan. I don't care what it takes. We cannot allow them to take back control of this world. Humanity has fought too long, too hard, to be wiped out again." Casper's gaze hardened. "We're going to need more than just your technology. These creatures control the earth, the ice, the very atmosphere. We'll need to learn their weaknesses. And for that, we have to get close. We have to infiltrate their domain and understand how they manipulate this world." Zorath's eyes narrowed. "I'll send a squad of our best operatives. If we can infiltrate the heart of their power, we may find a way to stop them." As Zorath issued the command to prepare the alien squad for a covert mission, the massive creatures continued their advance. With every step they took, the ground seemed to freeze more quickly, turning the landscape into a cold, inhospitable wasteland. The closer the Ancient Ones came, the more everything around them seemed to bow to their power. But the humans, having lived in these harsh conditions for generations, were already preparing. General Casper quickly organized his forces, setting up defensive positions near the entrance of one of the Ancient Ones' temples. He knew they had limited time. The aliens were already preparing their offensive. They had the technology to fight the Ancient Ones directly. But the humans had something else, the knowledge of survival in the harshest conditions. The first clash was devastating. As the alien fleet fired upon the advancing Ancient Ones, the beams of energy bounced harmlessly off their stone-like skin, which seemed impervious to the most advanced weaponry. The earth shook as the giants retaliated, striking the alien ships with their massive fists. The energy in the air surged, and every explosion seemed to ripple through the planet itself. Zorath's forces were forced to fall back, their attacks ineffective against the overwhelming strength of the Ancient Ones. Their weapons couldn't penetrate the creatures' thick hides, and their ships, once the pinnacle of alien engineering, were quickly overwhelmed by the raw power of the Earth's ancient guardians. Meanwhile, Casper and his team of human survivors moved swiftly through the wreckage, avoiding the chaos of the battlefield. Their mission was clear. They needed to find a way into the heart of the Ancient One's power. They needed to understand what gave them control over Earth and how to stop it. I'm telling you, we've been fighting the wrong enemy all along, Casper muttered as he led his team through the darkened ruins of an ancient city. The aliens may be powerful, but they don't control this world. These giants do. One of the human soldiers, a young scout named Lena, looked around nervously. General, I don't think we can keep going much further. We're getting too close to them. Casper glanced back at her, his face determined. We have no choice. We either stop the Ancient Ones, or we lose everything. This battle is bigger than any of us. It's about survival ours and the aliens. As they continued deeper into the ruins, they stumbled upon a hidden chamber beneath the ice, a forgotten underground city where ancient technologies had been preserved. The walls were covered in strange symbols, and the air was thick with the scent of ancient dust. But at the center of the chamber was something even more incredibly large, stone-like structure. Pulsing with energy, Casper approached it cautiously, his breath visible in the freezing air. This, ... This is what they've been hiding, he whispered. This is the power of the Ancient Ones. He stepped forward, placing his hand on the stone surface. The moment he did, the ground beneath them rumbled. The structure began to hum, glowing with an eerie blue light. A sudden vision flashed before his eyes, a glimpse into the ancient past, when the Earth was ruled by these beings. He saw them, towering over the planet, bending the world to their will. But something else appeared in the vision, a weakness, an opening in their control. Casper pulled his hand away, gasping. He turned to his team, his face set with newfound resolve. I've seen it. I know how to stop them. But we'll need to work together. Humans, aliens, we must unite if we have any chance of surviving this. Back on the battlefield, Z was beginning to realize that his mission to conquer Earth had taken a drastic turn. The aliens had underestimated the true power of the Ancient Ones. It wasn't just about technology or superior weapons. Earth was a living entity, and the Ancient Ones were its protectors. But Zorath wasn't one to give up easily. He looked to the sky, where the rest of his fleet was waiting. He had